Welcome back everyone to the channel. My name is Devin and today we're going to be talking about the new movie Infinity Pool. I just got back from the theater about 5 minutes ago, so here are my first reactions. I'm going to go through a little bit of a plot summary as well as talk about the ending. So let's get started. Now I gave this movie 4 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. If you'd like to follow my Letterboxd, you can click in the description right now and I put a link there to follow me. To start off, this movie was extremely wild and not what I expected. I only watched a minute of the trailer, so I knew a little bit of the premise, but I didn't know all of the other wild stuff that was going to happen. The movie follows husband and wife James and Em Foster. They are staying at an exclusive resort in a fictional country. When the couple meet another couple named Gabby and Alban, they take them outside of the resort. While on the way home, James is driving and hits a man while everyone else is asleep in the car. Gabby tells them to leave the man and act like it never happened. The next morning, the authorities show up at James and Em's hotel room and bring them in to the police station. While at the police station, James is told that he can either be executed or pay a large amount of money to have a body double be killed. He is then stripped down and put into this room with a lot of goo and then has a ton of hallucinations before waking up. When he wakes up, he is with Em and he's forced to watch the double be executed. Now this movie started really slow, but after this it just got so much faster. He goes down to the front desk to try and get some help and Gabby distracts him and they go and have a drink. She tells him to come back to her villa and he decides to go. It is here where there is a bunch of rich people who also had committed crimes and had a body double be executed in front of them that greet him. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe it was at this time that Gabby talked to James about how they found out about this government's policy. She talked about how her husband's company was helping build the infinity pool around the resort and 2 men unfortunately died. This is how they first found out that there would be no consequences for any crimes they committed as long as they paid, making the rich people basically invincible. If the rich people wanted to commit any crimes, do anything they wanted, they could, and they would not face any repercussions. While at the villa, all these people who were smoking and drinking wanted to go and claim this medal from one of the leaders of the country. So they stormed this person's house and held them at gunpoint. Someone who was in the house tried to defend and hit Alban with a bullet. Alban was then brought back to James and Em's hotel room and Em was like, what the hell just happened, because she stayed there. But all the rich people were brought to jail where they waited in a cell for hours. When they finally got out of the cell, the government leader said they were going to switch things up and brought them all to the execution room. But this was just a trick by the director because a curtain opened and all the people were there and it was just their doubles getting killed. And these people were pretty sick. Even James was laughing and smiling and I was kind of going like, what the hell, when I was in the theater. At this point in the theater, I was honestly like, I have no clue where the hell this movie is going. I have no clue what's happening, but I was just enjoying the movie. Or trying to, at least. Then when you thought this movie could not get any weirder, it does. Em realizes that James is turning into this weird, strange person and goes home. When Em goes home, James decides to go and hang out with Gabby again. It is here where they smoke some sort of religious drug in the country, and then they have a massive orgy. Was this necessary for the movie? No. Was it one of the trippiest scenes I've ever seen in a movie theater? Yes. Now, I would try to describe what happened in the scene, but I honestly can't. The next morning, James is drunk again at breakfast, throwing grapes all over, throwing food all over, and not a care in the world. At night, the rich people go to a hospital where I believe it was either a detective or one of the other leaders was getting an appointment done. James then smokes more of that religious drug and basically turns into an animal. James starts beating up the guy, then they all start peeing on the guy, and then the guy's identity is revealed and it's actually one of James' doubles and he freaks out. Now this was James' wake-up call and he was like, I'm not doing this shit anymore. He goes back to his hotel and the people are singing outside of his window with masks. Gabby comes to his door and starts calling him pathetic and saying he's no fun, so basically if you're not with these rich people and doing all this crazy shit, you're no fun. The next morning we find out that James actually kept his passport underneath the sink. As we all know, James is a writer who was having a writer's block and that's why he was at the resort. He obviously did not want to go home and just wanted to enjoy his time because his life was kind of a failure back at home. He was not rich, it was mostly his life as explained in the movie, so when Gabby recognized him and said that she loved his book, he really felt sentimental and liked her a lot for it. With no laws and no consequences, Gabby just pulls out a gun and shoots at James through the window. Gabby mentions that she never read his stupid book and they make him walk on the street while they are in the cars. And Mia Goth's acting was phenomenal in this movie. One of my favorite scenes of her was on the car when she was just yelling at him and then she drops her wine. When she drops her wine, James tries to grab her gun and then runs off into the woods before getting shot in the leg by her. And just when you thought this movie could not get any more weirder, it somehow does. James makes it to this house where 2 ladies who are hanging laundry bring him into the house and most likely save his life. He then has a hallucination that he woke up. When he opens his eyes, around a curtain is the boy who executed his double early on in the movie. The boy comes over to him and starts choking him out before James splits his face in half and then he has another big hallucination. He then wakes up and when he goes outside, shining bright lights on him are the rich people in their 2 cars. Gabby says they need to bring out the dog to see how strong he really is. And this dog ends up being James's double. She throws him a knife and James throws it away and wants no part of it, but then his double attacks him. Gabby then comes over, puts her arm around James, and pulls out her nipple and has James suck on it with blood on it. People in my theater were laughing, they were going, what the hell? I could hear all sorts of reactions to this. The next morning he calls his wife and says that he's coming home and everyone else is coming home as well. They all get on the shuttle and act like nothing happened and go back to the airport. James contemplates at the airport at his boarding pass and then ends up going back to the resort where the last shot of the movie is him sitting on a beach chair while it is raining. Now this movie was extremely interesting to me. I actually gave it 4 stars. Now, I just absolutely loved the chaoticness of this movie, and it basically showed if there was no crimes and you were extremely rich, what you could really do. Now, I personally just love the visuals, the hallucinations were crazy, and I felt like this was a movie. Now, this is not the type of movie where you will just get some life-changing meaning. This is just a fun movie. Now, this director, I haven't seen his other movies, but I could just see this guy saying if there was no rules and I was rich and could go to this country and just do whatever I wanted, this is what I'd do, and it was interesting. I was intrigued throughout the movie. It was a little slow at first, but when everything was happening, I was kind of like, what's happening? Like, when I go to a movie, I'm either looking for meaning or something new that I have never seen, and I've never seen something like this. It is a pretty scary concept, and he did take risks not building this whole entire story that was going to have some huge meaning, but it was a lot of fun to me. So, I'm curious to know what you thought, so let me know in the comments what you thought of the movie Infinity Pool, and I'll see you guys in the next video.